All right, everybody. So, with our third day here, one of the biggest ways that we use to have found deal flow over the last 12 years starts at the state licensing websites for banks. Now, how I came across this. Now, last night on day two, we talked about using, day one, we talked about using LinkedIn. Day two, we talked about, pulling the lane guide lists. Well, the next list that we started pulling was going to the different licensing websites. Now, as a mortgage broker, past mortgage banker, I started thinking, okay, where could I find other information about like-minded mortgage bankers, mortgage brokers, things like that? And where do I register? How could I pull a list of my fellow compatriots? And that works very well in the note business as well, too, because I'm targeting mortgage bankers. Now, the difference between a mortgage banker versus a bank. A mortgage banker is somebody who works for a bank that's making loans. Now, a mortgage banker who's not working for a federally licensed bank has to register with the state. You've got basically to have a couple of years, at least 2 years in business, and they're usually to get like a line of credit from a major bank or a major lending institution. You're usually doing a certain amount of product as part of production on a monthly basis. 5 million production a month was pretty normal. And the idea is that you're doing loans, rinse and repeat them. Okay. Well, every state used to require you to get licensed in that particular state as a licensed mortgage banker. Okay. Now I'm here in great state of Texas, go Lone Star State. Texas has been one of those few states that after everything happened in 2008, 9, and 10, when the federal government and states started really cracking down on loan officers and mortgage brokers and mortgage bankers, a lot of the states transitioned to requiring people just to get a federal license, a national license, and then registering individually in that state. And that's the case. Texas has stuck by it. Texas has been one of the easiest ways to get licensed earlier on as a loan officer. If you got your Group 1 insurance and health insurance license, you paid $125 a state, you could be writing loans the next day if you were signed up with a mortgage broker. All right. Now, Texas did not did not conform like a lot of the other states did in requiring everybody to go get registered at the National Mortgage Loan Originating website. They don't do that. Texas has been one of the few states out there that still has everything at the at a state level. If you're going to do business in Texas, if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band. Well, in this case, if you're going to lend in Texas, you need to be licensed and registered in the state of Texas. Okay. Now, every state has a little bit different handles: mortgage brokers, mortgage bankers. Sometimes it's the financial institutions department. In California, it's the Department of Real Estate. Here in Texas, it's called the Texas Savings and Mortgage Lending Office. It's a state office you can go to. Like I said before, most of the other states, though, have done away with their individual websites that would list the bankers. Like I went on to California today. California has 63,000 plus lenders licensed to do business in California. That's a lot, but it doesn't give any emails. It doesn't give us any contact information, just the information of the company, address, and some other stuff. What's great about Texas is Texas will give you a list of mortgage brokers, okay, mortgage bankers, yay, servicing companies, yay, and they'll give you phone numbers, emails to the license departments, and contact information, okay? And the beautiful thing that's so great about Texas is the fastest state to foreclose in the nation. It's very banker friendly. It always has been, okay? And the beautiful thing about this list is it's free to download. It's literally, you can download in minutes. And then what we do with this list is we start our drip marketing campaigns. This is what we started years ago when I found out about this list. And this list over the last 13 years has grown and tightened up as lending has gotten easier or harder. Right now, in the past few months, has gotten quite. So like I would say, we're going to look for mortgage bankers, servicing companies is the next chunk of that list. And then we also look at mortgage companies. Now, mortgage companies are not the ideal because they're not really originating loans. They're not holding anything in their books. They're basically just being a broker and originating loans for other banks or their institutions. So the big two, mortgage bankers, servicing companies, are the best two off this list. Mortgage companies will sometimes find deals. It becomes a great way to kind of get the word out what we're doing, because they'll see stuff come across their books, across their desk at mortgage companies, from other banks and other things like that, other lenders out there. So it's still good to have. It's just that when it comes to our drip marketing, by drip marketing, I mean just uploading a list to your MailChimp or your email service provider. It's an email blast out there and following up with people. Now, besides just sending an email blast out to them, it's also good to track down the right department or the right person on LinkedIn, on other social medias, going to the website, inquiring about their websites, inquiring if they've got anything on their books, or trying to track down the specific person. A lot of times, the person they list here on the list are the person in charge of either in charge of the company or the person in charge of licensing. So you got to know what you're looking at. All right, I'm going to pull this up for you. I want to show you how simple this is to find. It's very simple to find. It's one of the most valuable things that you can do. And don't let anybody ever tell you that banks won't sell to you, because they will, ladies and gentlemen. Banks will sell to you all the time. They were selling to me when I had nothing and no experience years ago, and they're still looking for people to buy their distressed debt on the resi and the commercial side. And this is why it comes in really handy right now, more so than anything else, because there's plenty of banks, not only in Texas, but outside of Texas doing business in Texas. All right. So that's one of the most important things. So I want to share this website with you. It's very simple to get to. It's not Metro Online. It's this. If you just Google Texas Savings and Mortgage Lending, it pops up the Department of Savings and Mortgage Lending. So if you click on that, that takes you to the page. Okay. Yes, it's closed. But the beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to go far. It's like 2 clicks. And you're right here, download list of licensees. All right. It's that simple. We should have a drum roll for it. Very simple. So click on the download list of licensees. That takes you to this page. Then we just go straight over here to the company roster download. Click on that. If you're preparing your download file, please wait. Very simple. Gives it a second or two. And then what we'll do is we'll give you a link there you can click on, or it will download an Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to walk you through the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. I see it's working here. Boom, boom, boom. It's such a beautiful thing. This is all free information out there. Okay. Free information to mortgage bankers. And there's some big banks in there. Free information on servicing companies. There's a couple hundred servicing companies that are, licensed to do business in the state of Texas. All right. That's not the end all be all. Texas is still one of those states that if you have loans, you can self-service if you want to. I don't recommend it. That's why there are more servicing companies, more lenders doing business here in Texas than other places, because it is the fast foreclosure state, very friendly. And if you're holding paper, resi or commercial, you can self-service if you want. Like I said, don't believe it's a good thing. But still, plenty of servicing companies. It's not the end all be all list, but it's still a pretty good one if you're going to be in the note business as far as finding deals. Okay. It's taking a little second here. There we go. Your download should start in a few seconds. Give it a link here. Like I said, and there it is. I see it here. I'm going to open this up for you guys. I'm going to hit open. I want to share my screen again so you guys can see it. And all of you can go straight there to the Texas Savings and Mortgage Lending and hit the list of licensees, and you'll be good to go. So give it a second. Let's open it up. Boom. All right. So new share. There we go. Now I have this download. Now, the total list, I don't want everybody on this list. There are some license types that I don't care about, but right off the bat, this shows you 4,308. Okay. 4,308. Okay. Total contacts. Okay. Now we want to get rid of some of these. There's some of these titles we talked about before. We don't want to. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to filter this thing. All right. So I'm going, and we have auxiliary. I'm going to pick what we don't want so we can delete it. So we don't want auxiliary mortgage loan activity, credit union subsidiary, no. Financial services company registration, no. Independent contractor processing, we don't want those. We just want to leave mortgage banker, mortgage company, and residential mortgage loan servicer. Okay. So pick those. I'm just going to get rid of those. Boom, chakalaka, 4308. Remember, we're going to delete these rows. We're going to allow it to go back in here, hit OK. That leaves us, by removing that, that still leaves us 3,907 entities. Okay. Now let's do this. Let's rank it. We're going to re-rank it, resort it. And we're going to sort it by license type. Okay. So mortgage bankers. Let's see out of mortgage bankers. Actually, then what we're also going to do, get the status here. We're going to get rid of the ones that are expired, revoked, or voluntary surrendered. Okay. Or ordered to surrender. We're just going to go ahead and highlight those. Okay. Now, most of these are old. You can see over here on the right-hand status date on this is all old. Most of them aren't even close. So that's why we're just going to get rid of them. Not in business anymore. So we're going to get rid of those. Boom, boom. So you had a lot of people come and go. All right. Spend the most amount of time you want to spend on the ones that are active. Okay. All right. That's the license type. Delete those. Okay. Now we have the ones that are active, approved or approved but inactive. They just haven't renewed their license. Okay. So, and we're going to change this just to mortgage bankers. So write this number down. Mortgage bankers that are approved or approved expired. That number is a lot. That number is 416 mortgage bankers. Okay. That's a lot. 416. I want to write that down. 416 mortgage bankers. Now, the beautiful thing about this list that I want you guys to see, you have the license number. View. I'm going to actually freeze the panes. All right. Freeze the pane. So you have the license number, name, license type, status dates, whoopie-doo, authorized to do business, yes. Address, city, state. So you see you have people from all across the country doing business here. If they're not just in Texas and they're in other states, you can bet they're in other states doing deals or lending in those states as well. So when you contact these guys and gals, contact these entities with an email, it's just not for stuff in Texas. It's stuff for everywhere. Hey, what do you have on your list? Because most of these mortgage bankers aren't just going to be in Texas. They're going to have other states. And that's what's so valuable is getting on their list. Okay. So you got a phone number and then a fax number. Who uses fax? I don't get that. But anyway, and then an email. Now, the email, you'll see a lot of this stuff is like licensing at Summit Mortgage or NMLS licensing at New Day. You'll say, okay, fine. But then you start having compliance or licensing. But then you start seeing some names. A. Miller, S. Bateman, S. Fass, Papa Zarili. I don't know how to say that. But you start seeing Jennifer Mulder. Okay. Mulder. Alicia Huling. You can get some names on here. Now, the licensing emails, there's a lot of them. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of licensing stuff, but that's okay because it's still an email that you can send. And I would almost split the licensing emails off in a separate email that you can follow up with, hey, I know this is the licensing. I'm trying to track down your special servicing or secondary marketing, okay? Or your chief credit risk desk. But 416, that's a lot, okay? If you made 50 phone calls a day, it would take you 8 days, basically 2 weeks, really 3 weeks, because you only want to be calling on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 50 phone calls, it'd take you 8 weeks to get through them. You know what I mean? Is that right? No, sorry, 3 weeks, 8 days, 10 days to get through them. But it'd be well worth it because there's some big names on here. There's some big lenders on here, all right? And now you got an in to calling. And I've made some of these phone calls and had great conversations with them and gotten some either one-off stuff or even some larger pools or gotten on their list where every month they had something, I was the first guy or gal that got it. Of course, I'm the guy, that's how I identify. But you get what I'm saying. That's just mortgage bankers, 416. Let's go to the next one. Servicing company, residential mortgage loan servicers. Why are those important? Because servicing companies, they're the company that is basically doing the borrower outreach. They're working with the investors. They've got a variety of investors like you and me or bigger firms that they're handling business for. And you want to reach out to the residential loan servicers, not just the licensing, but the person in charge of business development here. And as far as the residential mortgage loan servicers, let's see how many are on here right now for this month. This number always changes. Boom, 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 boom. 209 loan servicers. Okay. That's a lot of loans that they're doing. Okay. And they're not doing stuff. You see their license outside of state, you jump on their website, take a look what states they're doing. But this is a great way to find a lot. You're going to find servicers that are handling this for first liens, hard money loans, stuff like that as well too. But still, well worth it to search just those two alone. That's 625 contacts there. All you need is a few of them to send you stuff on a regular basis. But like, that's what I'm trying to get at, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need a huge amount of low-hanging fruit to send you stuff. These are places and entities that most people aren't reaching out to. Most note investors are waiting for the lists or going to PaperStacks or the other domains that we'll talk about that they can go to and look at stuff, but it's all low-hanging. That's the stuff that's been picked over. This stuff is fresh. It's so fresh and so clean. It's non-spoiled. Plus, you're direct to the seller a lot of times, or the originator, so they know what's really going on. This has been a very valuable list for me in the last 13 years. Now, the final list, final chunk of people on here are mortgage companies. So they're probably not going to have a lot, but it's still worth to add them to your list to reach out to them on a drip marketing campaign. By drip marketing, once or twice a month, they get an email from you, just for the heck of it. You're going to have the biggest number of opt-outs on the mortgage company license site. It's also going to have the most amount of contacts on there. Because you remember, we were at, what was that, 3,000 some odd contacts? Mortgage companies here, 1,621 mortgage company licenses that are approved or volunteer. That's still a lot. But there are some names on here, mortgage companies that I know that have notes. Jet Mortgage. That is, I thought Houston, if I remember correctly. Frisco, Texas, my bad. Jet Mortgage. They have stuff, okay? JT at gentlemans.com, all right? But you're going to see, if you're looking through this, you're going to see some Gmails. That's probably the person in charge of license, person in charge of the company. With these mortgage companies, it's a lot of brokers, but still, it's worth putting on there because when you surround yourself or are networking with more people in the mortgage industry, hey, do you have a lender's got any non-performance if you're looking to get rid of? So I would separate these into 3 lists. You have your mortgage company, all right, which was how many again? 600 and some odd, right? I forgot to write that number down. Go back up there, 608 here, page up. Oh, it's 1,200, sorry, it wasn't 600, it was 1,621, I knew there was a 6 in there. And people are lending, okay? And that's the biggest thing. They are in basically all states. You can map these. I would still reach out. It's just good to surround yourself with people. So I would spend most of my time, if you're going to be dialing for dollars, call the mortgage bankers, okay? Then I would call the servicing companies and actually speak to somebody in charge of business development and ask if hey, do you have anybody that you guys service for who has some notes they're looking to move this quarter? We'd love to talk with you and have you retain servicing. Okay. That has worked well for me in the past. I found portfolios that way, 50, 20, 10, 100 that we could pick up and, make some nice chunk of change, either performing or non-performing or a mixture of both. Okay. So that's what I would do. I would take the emails, drop them into MailChimp. If you've got a brand new email account, upload 100 at a time, a list of 100 at a time. So you'd have technically 4 lists of mortgage bankers. Send an email out once to them individually. And then you can combine those lists together after the first email and then send to, one email to all 416 versus 100 at a time. But what I will be doing for you guys, for those that are our gold or our VIP, you will be getting this list emailed to you tonight. So you've got that as well. And it's an extra little bonus. We've already done the work for you to kind of separate it up there for you. All right. And one of the things that we'll do also at the end of the 20 days, we'll be sending scripts and emails for you to basically what you can copy paste and send in an email and send out the list as well for you. So some kudos and goodies for our VIP members. I wanted to open up for questions if you have any questions about this Texas Savings and Mortgage List. This is an easy thing that each and every one of you that are watching this, that are on here with me or catching the replay, you can download. You can put this to work today. And you can send them an email to go out at any time, even if you've got to work. I don't care if you've only got 5 hours a week to put towards your side hustle, or an hour a week, or 30 hours. This is one thing that should be added to your weekly or monthly marketing. You should be sending an email at least once a month to asset managers. And this is a great way when you combine this with the lane guide list that we talked about last night. You could literally have, if you count these numbers up, over 2,200 contacts just like that you send out to. And I would send out the marketing company, just the mortgage company, sorry, not marketing, mortgage companies last. I would send it to the mortgage bankers and the servicing companies first, and then add 100 mortgage companies a month to it, and just see what's going on. I mean, some of these emails are going to be bad because people change emails, but still, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get a hold of deals, this is a way to do it. Now, for those that are looking for REOs, oh my gosh, the mortgage bankers and the servicing companies, great way to reach out to find REOs. Hey, do you have any of your clients have any REOs that looking to get off their books? Have you had to take anything back that you want to get rid of? So I want to open it up for questions for those that are on here. Lots of great stuff here. I have been using this list. I literally download this list just about every month pretty much for the last like 8 years. And it's changed and flows. I'm so thankful Texas has kept it where it's open for that compared to other states. Other states like California used to be able to call in, order used to become a CD-ROM, or it actually came to me one time as a 3-inch floppy, and then it came as a CD-ROM, then it came as a thumb drive. Now I don't know. I reached out to them today a couple of times. You can do an Excel download, but it doesn't have the names or emails or phone numbers, so it's kind of worthless, okay? But this just takes time. It's like with any drip marketing campaign, the more you're in front of things, there's people that have been getting my emails for 2-3 years from this list, and not longer too. They started calling my emails the green emails, all right? The green emails. We actually had at Note Camp in the middle of the year, we have our mid-year event called Note Camp. And I've had several of the guys that have spoken on the special asset manager side I met from this. Todd Billings is an example out of Florida. US Debt Ventures was on here. And he would get my emails. He called it the green email. He would call me once a month, and we would look at what he had. And all you need is one relationship from this to make it worth your while. Okay. And it's well worth it to do it. And trust me, it's an easy way when you combine it with the lane guide. You've got a pretty enough good email list there to reaching out and going from there. Okay. Questions before we move on to our next lesson? You could dial for dollars off this if you want to. I would start it off with an email blast to those two lists, and then dial for dollars of those that open the email. Because with your CRM or email service provider, you'll be able to see, send it out on a Tuesday, look at it on Thursday, and start dialing for dollars off of those that open the email between Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. And one of the later lessons, we'll talk about what to dial, what to say, and how to follow up as well. But this is an easy list for you guys. Prime that pump. At least 600 of these, 625 great contacts for you to have in your database. And the others, who knows what's going to happen to those mortgage companies. But I guarantee anybody's originating right now, they're starting to see stuff. And it's important, whether you're looking for first liens or even junior liens, reverse mortgages. You definitely want to start marketing. This is one of the easiest ways to get the word out on what you're doing. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? That's the lesson on the fine side for day 3 here. Use it. Texas Savings and Mortgage Lending. Do that search. Do the download list of licensees. Clean up the list a little bit and get rocking with either drip marketing or dialing for dollars. And it's one of the best ways. Don't do any direct mail to this. Not worth it. Do an email blast and follow up with a phone call for those that open your emails. Okay.